Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to your weekly dose of Top Flight Skip Barber action. This week, live on Top Split TV for the special Mother's Day edition. Congratulations to all the mothers around the world, of course. Hopefully, many of them join us here tonight, although doubtfully, I'm sure. But we are here once again for the best Skippy action in town. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me tonight, back from an unexpected hiatus, is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, we're here at Charlotte Roval here tonight. Plenty of action on the cards.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And a couple of cars already in qualifying here, getting it wrong through the bust up on the back. When you mix an oval with a road course, you definitely get some interesting results. So this should be quite the exciting race there, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Very easy to come unstuck in quali, of course. I see Julian O'Fray, car number one plated driver here tonight. Top seeded driver with an I rating of some 6,100 plus. He's coming out for his second attempt at quali. Just saw him coming out of the pits after making a bit of a dicey effort at his first attempt. And he's back out there now. Very, very important here is the second lap of quali, more so than ever before in any of the seasons previously in Skippy. This new tyre model, the interim one, we shall call it, as the iRacing devs seek to make the appropriate adjustments so that they obey the laws of physics, mean that by the time your second lap comes around, even at a short track like this, where you're looking at a sub 1 minute 30 quali lap, the time the second lap comes around, you're a good somewhere between 1.1 second and 1.5 seconds quicker on that second lap. Vitally important not to scrub the tyres too much either, because of the changes iRacing have made to how the quali tyres work as well. So lots to think about here tonight, Corey, not the least of which is some a very daunting pair of chicanes.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And I've already outlined a little bit that bus stop chicane on the back straight. And that final chicane heading into the start and finish line is also one of the danger zones. Plus, the opening lap around here on these tyres is very sketchy indeed. With this track predominantly being used for the NASCARs, it's fairly tight and technical on the infield section while it's still fairly wide open, but it's enough to catch a few of the drivers out.
Yeah, absolutely. Håkan Grebstad having set the current provisional best time in quali, as I just wait for my paint schemes to update. I'll just restart that. Hopefully that'll work a bit better this time. We'll see how we go. Håkan Grebstad, of course, right up there in the championship. Actually, while we're there, why don't we grab a look at that? I'll hide them for a second and grab the points standings here. Sammy J. Toyakala, who should be in there, if I'm not mistaken. He is the car number 12 here tonight. His I rating's cracked 4,000. He's sitting on top of the pops with Håkan Grebstad in P2. The other of the Flying Finns, Timo Vaskalampi. He is also in here tonight in P3. Sasha Gourlay. Oh, Sammy J bites the wall coming out of that chicane. You will have missed that. Sorry, I can see it. You guys can't. Sebastian Schultz there rounding out the top five. I did see Sammy J now, who is on our screen, just bite the wall, as I said, coming out of that chicane, and that will not do much for his qualification efforts, I wouldn't have thought, Corey.
Yeah, and I was just having a watch of Sasha Gourlay as well, and I think he came into a little bit of trouble in the infield section there as well. He's just making his way out of the pits again. Even though he has already completed his first lap, it looks like he wants to just get in that extra track time there, Alex.
Yeah, well worth the effort, if I'm honest. Very tricky on cold tyres. So one of the biggest tip I can give to the young players out there is do some practice quali runs, because the first two laps, I did a fair bit at Bathurst, and again this week, not a little bit at Suzuka as well, but certainly at Bathurst, and again here this week, was just some quali runs, because the dynamic of the tyres is so different this season. As they come up to pressure and attempts, that it really makes a significant difference. And this track has been biting so many this week, particularly in the early stages, Corey.
Yes, indeed, Alex. Now, as you see, looks like qualifying has started to get sorted out now. We've got Timu Vascalampi on the pole at the moment with a 27.2, which is definitely no time to sneeze at, as I see Sasha Gole on screen getting it just a little bit wrong in the bus stop again.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Hopefully, oh, he just about nosed it into the wall. Hopefully, he can get that tightened up for the race and hope for some good results there. Looks like he's going to be stuck down in P13, though.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, that was very generous of you. Just a little bit of a muck up there in the in the chicane there. Of course, Anthony Catt now coming through the aforementioned chicane there, and looking to round out. Why don't we have a look here at how he's going? And I'll get rid of that driver name so we can see how he goes against the top-rated driver at the moment, Julian O'Fray, sitting on provisional poles. We see Anthony Catt from UK and I come through that final chicane to register a 27.4, which jumps him only to where he was really in P9. So didn't manage to improve his position at all there, Corey.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten a 0x somewhere along his lap, or he's completed that one on his third lap around. Track time is very important here, especially as the tyres are starting to warm up, so you've got a fair idea on how the car is going to react, specifically to the individual session, with stuff like track temp and ambient temp always varying from session to session.
Yeah, absolutely. The time of day starts out the same, with the conditions certainly variable here, but I agree, the extra track time, there's a few of them out there who have done laps, although Julian O'Fray driving around without much of his front end of his car there, looking to have some real issues with how things are going out there. Hopefully not replicated in the race, of course. We're just doing a bit of a practice start by the looks. Fran Novo Aeneas, the 15 car around here, P7 qualified at the moment. Great job from the 15-plated car here tonight. Of course, this is a free track on the iRacing service, so we do expect to see a few new faces as we take a look at our starting grid tonight for round 9 from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the road configuration. Julian O'Fray, I should say, starting in P1 tonight. Top rated and seated driver he is as well. P2, Team of Vascalampi, the Finnish flyer. P3 tonight, Sebastian Schultz, just the 2/10 off, same as Timu off Julian's time. Greg Barber, the leading ANZ driver tonight. Great to see Greg up there. Number 11 here tonight, but starting in P4. Håkan Grebstad, sitting P2 on the series overall, and likely in the official standings as well, representing Team Ovaltine in P5. Lee Anderson, first of the UK and I drivers here tonight in P6. First of the Iberians, Fran Novo Aeneas, we were just talking about him in P7. Kevin Henderson, ANZ stalwart in P8. P9 tonight, second of the UK and I drivers, Anthony Catt. P10, Juan Jose Diaz Salvador from Iberia. P11 tonight, John Scholz from Team Venom Racing. P12, Toshimasa Hanada from Japan, full 1.5 seconds off, probably didn't get his second lap in, as I would suggest with Sasha Gole, who has been so strong in this series in P13 tonight off the grid. P14, Jake Riddington from UK and I. P15, Sammy J. Toykala, watch him to come through the pack if he can manage to survive the opening laps. P16, Erhan Yajovski. P17, Pedro CR from Iberia. And the strength of field here tonight, 3,903, strongest by a country mile, about 600, 700 if you include races other than the preceding one. And once again, the race is about to start. Thank you, Sodi. Track temp tonight, of course, the all-important figure of 27 degrees. Let's see if we can't find the best camera angle to start with. That might be about it as the final cars start to take their position on the grid. The starter takes his mark. The engine starts to rise as the red light comes on. And we are away for the first of 16 laps here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Roval configuration as they attack now turn 1. And the guys start coming around 2 by 2 in some cases. Very sketchy here in the opening stages for the guys on cold tyres, Corey.
Yes, indeed, Alex. And with this track being fairly grip limited as it is, everyone will be absolutely walking on eggshells at the moment to start off this race. As we've got one car on the grass in the back, got very loose on the exit of that second corner on the infield section. I'm not sure who it was, but it looks like everyone has gotten themselves sorted out as they go to the oval now, Alex.
Yeah, look, all on tippy toes, no doubt, like cats on hot tin roofs around here, because these cars are tremendously sketchy in the opening stages of these races around here. Line astern they go. No one really looking to have a look here into this first run through turns 11 and 12. This very difficult chicane here. A lot of the guys hugging nicely through there, making it cleanly for the first time round. Whoa, a little bit of a jump there in the rear of the pack by Pedro. He manages to survive, as does everybody else, as they come down to the final chicane on the tail end of lap 1 of 16 here tonight, through 15, 16 and 17, managing to get it all through there. I think we have had, I was about to say we've had a clean first lap, and lo and behold, it's all come unstuck at the final chicane. Let's go and have a look at what happened there. Looks like Kevin Henderson was caught up in it. So we come into the final chicane now. Henderson, the 13-plated car, comes in pretty quickly there. It's all right. The rear of the car steps out, and he's off straight into the outside wall. Grab those brakes, please, Kevin. Oh, they're 2x2 behind him. That's what happened there. Sammy J. Toykala into the stricken Kevin Henderson there, who had by that stage stopped, but not before the guys had run over him, so to speak. But that's unfortunate for all involved. If I can try and get back to live pictures, please. Unfortunate incident. I was about to say we got through the opening lap unscathed, Corey, but it was not the case.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Sammy J, that is one of the drawbacks of starting towards the back. You can't always have time to react to every single incident that happens. I mean, some people look at it as an advantage, such as myself, but sometimes you can just get caught up in those incidents, as we see a great battle right now between Hawkon and the 11 of Greg Barber there for 4th and 5th. Hawkon just grabbing that position through that final chicane section heading onto the main straight, Alex.
Yeah, as we go through turns 1 and 2 now, the guys have sorted themselves out once again. All those little 2x2 behind, with Gourlay now starting to make his way through the field, up 6 positions in the opening couple of laps, as we are on the early stages of lap 3 now. 6 positions now, and chasing down Lee Anderson in front of him, who is, whilst he's 8 tenths ahead, that's certainly within draft and well enough to catch him up front. Meanwhile, we have Vascalampi tucked in behind O'Fray there, the 1 and 5 cars respectively. They've cleared out by 1.2 seconds from Seb Schultz, who seems to be able to get a good result here this week, all going to plan. He's had some tough runs here previously, and he's got Grebstad and Barber and Anderson and Gourlay. They're all, it's like one long line of cars here, as you can see in that wider shot there, as they come through the very challenging section, as we see some of the fronts of the cars lift up as they hit the sausage curves on the way out of that chicane. By the later stages of this race, perhaps not by lap 3, maybe lap 5, 6, you'll be starting to take that chicane almost flat in 5th, Corey.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. But even then, you still got to be very wary about those sausage curves on both the inside and the outside of the corners. If you catch them just wrong, they can send you from doing a wheelie into straight into the wall, and maybe even some barrel rolls. As I'm currently looking at the 3 of Sebastian Schultz, he was just holding off a challenge from Hawkon. Hawkon is definitely looking very racy here in the 4th position, and trying to look for any way that he can to get around Sebastian there, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. We're riding on board with Greg Barber, who's tucked in behind those two, going through the tight right-hander at turn 6 there, through 7 and 8 now onto the oval section. Very important series of corners there, of course, as you've got the very, very long straights here, and the chicane at 11 and 12 that they're approaching at the moment Of course, as I said, you can take it almost flat in fifth by the time things warm up, as we see Hawk-on Grebstad now making it too wide on the outside of Sebastian Schultz there. And Schultz backing off wisely, and we see a bit of a lift there from Barber as well, all living to fight another day as they once again put pedal to the metal and work their way out of that chicane. Coming down into the final chicane now at 15, 16, 17. They sweep to the left. Barber now having a look up the inside of Schultz as well. Gets it done, does he? 2x2, was it? No, they get it sorted out on the exit. And everyone lives to fight another day there, Corey.
Yeah, just in the back of that, after the bus stop chicane, Sasha had actually made an outside move around the outside of Lee Anderson, going through the oval turns 3 and 4, which is the turns 14 and 15 here for the Roval configuration, and almost made a position on Sebastian Schultz as well, as they were going through, having the battle, going through that last chicane section. The action is definitely starting to heat up here, Alex, and I reckon in another couple laps time, when they do start going flat through the bus stop, things are definitely going to start getting very interesting.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We see now Barber and Grebstad having taken full advantage of that, and have almost got the magic 1 second gap from Schultz behind them. Schultz now coming under pressure from the very fast and hard charging Gourlay, who has just streamlined his way past as they go through that bus stop that you were talking about now, all but at flat speed. You can see the outside of the exit of that corner. Well, that chicane there has two very large sausage curbs, the blue ones there that stick out, and they really want to draw you in like a magnet and destroy the front end of your car. We see nose to tail they go once again, and we see again just ahead of them Barber and Grebstad charging they're trying to tackle what is now a 2.5 second gap to our leaders in Vascalampi and O'Fray, who have to some extent skipped away and are now on the back of Pedro CR, I believe it is, the 16 plated car, no, the P16, the 12 plated car. It looks like he's about to come up and get lapped there, Corey.
Yeah, and this is something that I don't think that we have actually encountered here so far this season, which is lap traffic. And if Pedro is going considerably slower through that bus stop section, it could provide a bit of a bottleneck here for our leaders. Alfred could use this as an advantage to gain a gap on Timu, but it looks like Pedro has decided that discretion is the better part of valor and goes up high on the oval 1 and 2 corners to let the two leaders by as they go through towards the bus stop there, Alex.
Yeah, well played to Pedro there. He got out of the way of the race, so to speak. His race, from a competitive standpoint, done. No point in getting in the way of those who've still got the sheep stations to play for, as it were. Greg Barber and Grebstad now battling out for the minor position on the podium, with Gourlay and Schultz really chasing them down hard. Gourlay now has bridged what was almost a draft-breaking gap. He just did a 26 dead, which is equal that of Vascalampi and O'Fray up front. O'Fray setting the fastest time of the race in clean air, I might add, with a 25.9. So O'Fray, as we jump back up to see him leading out from Vascalampi, showing every bit of what a 6100 I rating driver can do here tonight, Corey.
And I must correct you a little bit there, Alex. There was the slight sniff of draft on that lap that he got from Pedro just before they went around him. So it was pretty much clean air, but there was that slight sniff of draft as they come onto the oval section again here, heading towards the oval turn 2. And Alfred has gone out to a 0.8 of a second gap, which is pretty awesome to see. But Sasha is definitely catching up to Barber and Grebstad behind them, Alex.
Yeah, 100% correct, mate. Geez, you're a hard taskmaster, mate. If you call that a sniffer draft too, I tell you what. But the guys are now, I tell you what, it is becoming a dead set race here as we see Gourlay now duck underneath Barber there. Barber just letting him through, as once again we see Pedro letting the race run by him, as Grebstad now almost skipping away. He's got about a 0.6 lead, but Gourlay, the man on fire here, up 9 positions in a just shy of 4K soft. That's a pretty fine effort from the two-plated car here tonight as he rounds turn one, starting what will complete about the halfway point of this race at the end of this lap, and he is now just half a second, 4/10 now behind Grebstad. Is there anything this bloke can't do? He's 25.4 was his last lap, and he's blitzed the fastest lap of the race by half a second. Now, that one did have draft in it, Corey. No questions asked.
Yes, indeed it did, Alex. But in saying that, Sasha is up 9 positions now, and you don't become a 5400 I-rating driver from just sitting still in the back. And Sasha is definitely showing that he is worth his I-rating in gold right now, as he is closing in on the back of Håkon. He's going to look like he's going to try and make a move to the inside of Håkon going into the bus stop. Håkon looks like he just lifted there to give Sasha the room to go. Håkon recognized that Sasha was going a little bit faster and didn't want to put up too much of a fight, trying to protect that fourth and maybe even battle back for third there, Alex.
Absolutely. We're just riding on the rear of Gourlay's car, and again, lifting was Grebstad tucking in behind, perhaps noting the speed that Gourlay has around here, and maybe seeing an opportunity to have a crack at the guys in front, although they are 2.7 seconds behind. Gourlay just set a 25.5, so just a tenth behind his previous lap, which was the best of the race. The man up in front, O'Fray, having done a 25.9, half a second off, and I think he might have 1x'd his previous lap, so no time registered there that I can see. But I would suggest to you that now he's run out of draft, I wonder how Gourlay's going to go bridging that gap, Corey.
Well, this is definitely going to be interesting to see, Alex. As you can see, Håkon's not exactly dropping off the tail of Sasha now. And Sasha still looks like he's holding pretty all right speed, as it looks like Håkon now with the big sniff of draft. Is he going to make a move going into the bus stop? He is. He's going to the inside. And it looks like Sasha now backs out just that little bit to allow Håkon the space to get through. Oh, and Håkon is gone, and he's taken out Greg with him. Oh, no. That was a big accident there, Alex.
Oh, that was huge. Let's take another look, folks, at home. Grebstad coming into that chicane. Let's ride on board with him now. Let's grab a look here from the cockpit here. This is what you can do. If the rear steps out, he corrects mid-corner, grabs too much of the curb, and it spits him up into the wall. And with him, oh gosh, I hope the roll bar's all right in that. His neck's stronger, if nothing else. But that, unfortunately, took not only our series contender, but the top-rated, the top-positioned ANZ driver at the same time. That's a tragedy for both or all parties involved. If I can just get this thing to come back live, as Grebstad now limping to the pits, very much like a crab. As we jump back up the front, we see O'Fray now with just the 0.3 of a second gap from Vascalampi, who, as some people at home might have noted, seemed to be struggling to hang on, but he has well and truly closed that gap up. Gourlay now in the background, as we see, has a bit of a gap now behind, with the drivers behind him being Schultz and Anderson. Very meekly make their way through that chicane after the events of the last lap, Corey. But what a turn this race has taken.
Yeah, exactly. 2 of the fast drivers are now out of this race, which is really bad to see. But as I said, that bus stop chicane is dangerous no matter what lap you're on. And something that I actually noticed on that last lap around is that Al Frey, on the entry to the first corner on the oval, took a slightly higher line on entry and gained a little bit more momentum on Vascalampi going through the corner by diving down to the low line from the high on the start of the corner there, Alex.
Yeah, look, I've seen that myself. I felt, although some of the traditionalists might suggest to you that the tidal line through there without using the banking on the exit on the run onto the oval will be better. But I find, like we see O'Fray do there, that the run, I don't know if you're getting a run up down the hill or what it is, but it just seems to be a little quicker, and it feels like you're getting more of a run. So, O'Fray taking advantage of that. It could also be just a tighter angle or an earlier turn in to turn 8, which is the corner that approaches the oval section of the circuit that leads you to track out that little bit further. But it could also mean that you're keeping flat at the same time. So a couple of different theories, a couple of different lines through there. O'Fray certainly showing that he's got the chops, whatever line he's taking through there tonight, and it's certainly working for him, Corey.
Yeah, exactly it, Alex. And I've been keeping a little bit of an eye on Sasha now, and he's starting to drop off a little bit from these front guys. The gap is now out to just about 3 seconds as Sasha goes through turn 2 now. He can still see the 2 leaders in front of him, but they're starting to get further and further into the distance, with Sasha only doing a 26.0 on the last lap compared to Alfred doing a 25.6. But yeah, it's just right now it seems that things have definitely strung out a little bit, and it's not much battling going on here, Alex, at the moment.
No, you're right. Gourlay is dropped off the pace a bit. Last lap for O'Fray was a 25.6, a full 4 tenths, just over ahead of Gourlay. Vascalampi well and truly tucked up in the draft now, biding his time perhaps, as we have about 4.5 laps remaining as our leading pair come through the bus stop chicane on the latter stages of lap 12. Interesting there once again through both cars taking a different line on entry into the bus stop. Vascalampi staying in the mid stages of the oval section on the approach, and O'Fray coming from much more higher position on the track as they come through the final chicane now. Very challenging section in of itself, very easy to get spat out into the wall just before the finish line as these two come in through the very fast and adventurous third gear first corner. Brave and the bold through there. You want to get on the gas as early as you can without spitting yourself into the wall. Double right-hander now through once again, fourth down into third gear as they're running up this short back straight on the infield section. Another right-hander here down into third gear on the approach to the second apex there. Once again, stick it in third, keep it flat all the way around through this section on the approach to the oval section. Again, cut very close to the barrier there. Both of them this time running high up on the oval, Corey.
Yeah, I believe that there is a slight advantage with getting that little bit of extra momentum coming off that very high line. With these engines not being as powerful as some, you need all the assistance you can to get the acceleration down to try and get a run going. So I'm looking back at Sebastian Schultz and Lee Anderson now. Lee looking very racy, just behind Seb at the moment. On the last lap, he looked like he was going to try and go for a move on the outside of the oval here. He's closing in on Seb as it looks like he's going to go for that move again. He's pulled up. He got to the side of him and then pulled out just before the chicane here, Alex.
Yeah, certainly did. Didn't feel that he had the position there and backed out of it. We do have about 3 laps remaining now as he goes very deep into turn 1. Leaving Schultz to get the run out of the corner. Certainly not going to attack him there on the outside of turn 1 and put himself nose first into the wall. Very wide entry into turn 4 there for Schultz, and gets the drive out as a result. A little bit of rear wing damage there, speaking to some events in this race for him. Back up front now, Vascalampi tucked in behind O'Fray now. The one-plated car once again taking the very high exit out of turn 8 onto the back oval section now with just 2.5 laps remaining. Who's your money on from here, Corey?
I would have to put my money on Timu for this one, Alex. Being in the back with such a large drafting area that this track has, I think he is in the box seat to go for a dive bomb into that final chicane.
Potentially so, and he might actually be going early. Oh, it's
contact!
Contact.
Oh,
O'Fray's
and
around.
Alfred's gone.
He's
And he
around.
keeps on the ball. He kept.
Can
I think he's kept it off the wall there, Alex.
He certainly has, mate. We're catching ourselves out here. Let's go back and have a look at what happened there. I thought it was about time Vascalampi was going to make his move, and just the finest of touches there. Potentially some net code involved there as O'Fray goes around, and as you say, very adeptly keeps it off the wall there. And what a tragedy for O'Fray there, who has really dominated this race almost from flag to flag, Corey.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And what that contact has done is that's severely slowed down Timu, and he's now almost got Sasha in his draft range. In fact, coming through this inner section here, but just before the oval, he does indeed have Sasha in his draft zone, Alex.
Yeah, or I'd say he's just a smidge out, potentially 1.2 seconds behind as we ride on board with Gourlay now. That last lap for Timu Vascalampi was as a result of that, it was a 28.3, just shy of a 28.4 with 26.1 to Gourlay, which is not his best time, obviously, but no draft involved in that, as he hugs extremely tightly through that chicane, although, of course, trying to bridge that gap. Sitting at 1.5 now, so not the best run for Gourlay out of that corner there, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And he's got to do all the work here on this last lap, Alex. He's got to try and bridge that gap and see if he can find a way around Timu, which I don't think will be very easy to do. But he was faster than Timu on that last lap by 0.2 of a second. So it could all be here to play for right now, Alex.
Yeah, just sticking with Schultz and Anderson now. Schultz leading Anderson, who, of course, I think took out round one of the Sunday Night Lights this season, looking to make a race of it in the closing stages, Corey.
Yeah, and these guys have been battling hard for most of this race, Alex, and it'll be interesting to see whether Lee can, in fact, get the run going on Seb going through this oval section. I reckon if he could get it done before the bus stop, he'll probably be in the box seat to get that third position. And I bet you when these guys started the race and got through the first couple of laps, they didn't think that they'd be battling for a podium right now, Alex.
Yeah, potentially. Look at the draft really draw Anderson back into it. I can't see him. He's going to show the nose, but he's not going to have a crack at him there. But he's got to set up the run out here if he's a hope to have a look here, as we see Schultz now kind of half taking the defensive line, really positioning his car to take that final position on the podium. As we see Vascalampi cross the line there in P1, and is Anderson making the move and making it stick there, getting it done through the final chicane to take out third spot on the podium here tonight, as the rest of our competitors start crossing the line here, Corey. Quite a dramatic finish in the closing stages here of this one. And as the final drivers start coming across now, we've got Hanada now crossing there for a top 10 finish there, along with Henderson recovering from his early incident with Juan Salvador crossing the line from Simark Competition, judging by the colour scheme. Sammy J is looking to do a dozen more laps, judging by that pace. Greg Barber also crossing wearily across the line tonight. The highest, Henderson getting a top 10 finish for the ANZ club. Shame for Barber, who, not through his own making, ended up, excuse me, well and truly out of it here tonight. As we take a look at our final standings here for round 9 of Sunday Night Lights from Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course. Timu Vascalampi having an eventful later section of the race, hanging on to take out round 9 it is of Sunday Night Lights. P2 tonight went to the hardest of charging, Sasha Gourlay. Up 11 spots. That's a fantastic drive. Perhaps well and truly drive of the night there. P3 tonight went to Lee Anderson, who made a sensational move through that final chicane. just finishing ahead of Sebastian Schultz as a result in P4. P5 tonight, Julian O'Fray can count himself very unlucky. Looked like he almost broke the draft at one point to lead away for a dominant win, but unfortunately, the nature of internet racing, sometimes you will cop a phantom knock like that, and that's a real shame for Julian not taking out his maiden victory. P6 tonight went to UK&I's Anthony Catt. P7 to the leading Iberian here tonight, Fran Novo Aeneas. Jake Riddington, which I believe makes his debut in Sunday Night Lights and takes out a top 10 result to boot in P8. P9 tonight, Toshimasa Hanada from Japan. P10 went to car number 13, the leading ANZ driver, as we said, Mr. Kevin Henderson. A recovery drive for him after losing the rear end through that final chicane early on. P11, second of the Iberians here, Juan Jose Diaz Salvador. P12, Sammy J, whose race went from bad to worse, but still finishing in the SNL points. P13, the unfortunate Greg Barber, who looked like he was on for a sensational finish, only to come unstuck, not through any of his own making, as we said. P14 to Mr. Grebster, representing Team Ovaltine, one lap down and caught out by that bus stop chicane. Pedro CR from Iberia in... Excuse me, folks, just had a bit of a cough. Pedro in 15th. 16th to Erhan Yajovski, and 17th, rounding out our finishers, although he did retire, was Mr. John Scholtz representing Team Venom. Corey, what do you make of that one?
That was definitely one of the craziest races I think we've had as far as late action there. Good on Timu for good on Alfred for managing to recover so well and still finish in fifth. That is no mean feat, and I'm sure that he'll be happy to have recovered so far, even though he had such a disappointing reason for being back that far there, Alex.
Well, I'm not sure that I agree that P5 in a race like this is a good result, but not so sure he wouldn't still be spewing about the result after having dominated the race for so long here. But now, before my voice goes on us, we better start getting these interviews going. We might grab now. Mr. Vascalampi, who's waiting in the green room, gave me a bit of a bit of strife last week, only because he couldn't get his microphone working. So I'm hoping that the microphone is working a bit better tonight before I bring him up. But let's see how we go. Mr. Vascalampi, are you with us here tonight? Look, a bit of a victory there for you, mate. Congratulations on that, first of all. But tell us what happened in that incident.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. Doesn't feel like a win. It didn't go like I wanted it to go. It was totally my fault. I thought it was a net code, but no, looking at replay, it was not. I just went too close.
Yeah, that's unfortunate,
mate. Real tire, and yeah,
it's unfortunate, mate. It looked like he almost got away from you there. We were wondering if he had the pace, and I tell you what, significant pace it would have had to have been to break the draft there. But you managed to get back onto him. Otherwise, the racing was okay.
Well, yeah, I was actually playing a bit. I was taking very careful, left like 0.8 gap sometimes, and just I kind of like wanted him to push in the chicken so hard that he would break the wings and so on. But I actually broke my wings, so I think Julian, he would have taken it. He had better top speed.
Yeah.
He had advantage there. But then this happened. But yeah, it doesn't really feel like a win. I don't want to win like that.
Yeah, well, it's an unfortunate end to what was shaping up to be a fantastic finish, mate. But still, The writing's on the wall now, mate. A hatful of championship points there. Biggest haul of points for the week, of course, for the strongest race. Certainly puts you in good stead for the remainder of the season and the official season overall. So congratulations for that. And listen, before we let you go, make sure, I know you do a bit of streaming on Twitch as well. Let everyone know where they can find you there and check out some of your races.
Yeah, Twitch TV and Tsauraki. So it's a bit tough Finnish word, so...
Yeah, mate. Well, look, Zauraki, it's Z-A-U, isn't it? Just spell it out for the folks at home.
Well, I don't know how to spell it so that they understand it. If I spell it like Finnish, it's not.
I'll spell it for the folks at home.
They will find it.
Yeah, Zauraki. That's where you find him on Twitch. Yeah. One of the fastest guys going around leading the championship.
I stream sometimes, but then not recently. I've gone like at this try hard mode this season.
Yeah,
but I'm sure I go back to regular no worries mode next season.
Well, it looks like the try-hard mode is paying off, mate, based on your results. So congratulations for the season thus far, and we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks.
Okay.
There you go, Corey. That's what it's like to interview the softly spoken Finnish folks. They come up, but not shy on the track, that's for sure. Team has got plenty of pace to burn around here, and certainly showed us what that's all about.
Yeah, indeed, and you can actually tell in his voice there that he did feel really bad about that contact that he had with Alfred. But a man of very few words there, and hopefully we can see him again in the near future, and maybe even in the top threes again, if not another win there, Alex.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. Our team has been going from strength to strength this season. The absence of some of the other big names in the category has really opened the door for some really fast guys who've taken the opportunity with both hands to really stand out and shine in their absence. So, and that's not to say that he's not right up there with the best of them. It just means that, we've now got this platform on a Sunday night where the likes of Timmy can really show what they've got. So both the change in time and the type of platform that we've got here has really allowed these guys to shine, as I said. So, yeah, congratulations to Tim. And not the way he wanted to win, of course, but it's an unfortunate part of racing nonetheless. Now, we've got a couple left in the commentary booth now, and I'm just going to try and find them on the track in this replay. Mr. Greg Barber has finally managed to join us for a post-race interview. Greg, look, welcome to the Top Split TV commentary booth. You've managed a few races here with us this season. Strong performance was on the cards here tonight, and then not through any of your own doing, it all came unstuck, mate.
Yeah, a bit unlucky, wasn't it? I was having a chat to Harkin down in the green room there. So nothing he could do about it. It was just like he meant to bounce off the wall in front of me. So yeah, I've had a couple of good races.
Yeah, mate. Look, it's that bus stop chicane, and it's exactly how people have been getting caught out there. We just got a nice vision of you actually making good room through there through the final chicane to let Hawk on through and showing a bit of good racecraft there. And unfortunately, it was a racing incident, but you still, like I said, mate, you've had some great track position this season. Really putting on some strong performances. Just hasn't quite come together for you to this point.
Yeah, no, I've been, first couple of races in the top split, I just wanted to sort of bring it home, reasonable points spot. So tonight that thought I really had a decent chance qualifying up the front somewhere and turning it into a result. But I knew that being up that end of the field, you're in with the fast, aggressive guys. And sometimes it goes wrong.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It's an unfortunate one, but again, most unfortunate. Not only with the leading ANZ driver, but no no fault of your own, as we said a couple of times. So, look, I'm hoping that the results will start to come your way towards the tail end of this season and potentially into next if we can draw you back again, mate. So, it would be really good to see some of the local boys up the front there, the likes of yourself and Ben Snell and others. Ben, of course, not here tonight. You were left with Kevin Henderson to fly the flag, and unfortunately, it didn't go our way. So, look, thanks very much for joining us, both on track and in here for a chat afterwards, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just Shawnee. He knows who he is. He might be listening, he might not be, but he was in here that Bathurst race talking me up, so better give him a shout out.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Greg. We look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks, mate, and I'm sure that pace of yours will show through for some better results as well.
All right, mate. Thanks for that.
There you go, Corey. I'm reluctant to say an up and coming ANZ driver because I know he's got some serious miles under the belt previously, but certainly new to the SNL scene is Greg Barber, and I'm getting close to pinning my hopes on the likes of him and Ben Snell, as I've said before, to really carry the flag for the Aussies out here.
Yeah, and I really feel for him, Alex, with getting caught up in that crash. Obviously, no fault of his own, and nothing that Hawkon could have done differently to have stopped him from being involved in that crash as well. But, you know, the hopes are high. He's showing that he's got some good pace, and it'll be interesting to see what he can get up to in the next couple of weeks there, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our final driver of the night is Team Ovaltine's own Hawkon Grebstad. Hawkon, mate, that's chicane. It's been biting people all week, I can tell you firsthand, and tonight was no exception. That we were on for another good result there, mate, and then she all came unstuck.
Yeah, it didn't go as planned. I haven't really been practicing the tight line entry into that chicane and trying to work with Sasha and catch a little bit the two guys in front, and kind of had the tight entry, took a little bit too much curb, and it's gone from there.
Yeah, it's a real shame, mate. As I said, looked like you were on well and truly in the thick of it and on for a good result. And it's just the nature of this track. I've been surprised, you know, for what on the surface of it looks like such a simple track, really it has the potential to bite and bite hard. And we've seen it decimate fields all through this week. And
For sure.
yeah, look, it's certainly a fun one to drive, and it's got a couple of other configurations that hopefully we'll see in the coming seasons. But you never know what's in store yet. But listen, mate, thank you once again for joining us here on track and in the booth tonight. Anyone like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I got to thank you guys as always for doing the broadcast, and I got to apologize to Greg Barber, my incident.
Yeah, of course. He took it pretty well, mate. He knows it's part of racing. So I'm hoping that we'll all be back bigger and better next week for a good result, mate. Well, so thank you very much for joining us, and good luck in the coming weeks.
Alex, see ya.
Yeah, Corey, Mr. Grebstad himself, who is, of course, right up there with the leaders in the overall standings and for Sunday Night Lights itself. So, look, pretty good race here tonight. This track, like I said, is remarkably challenging given the simplicity of the layout. But it certainly showed what it can do here tonight with some of the best drivers going around.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And this track also goes to show that even some of the best drivers going around can make mistakes too, as we've seen with Vascalampi and both Hawkon there making some small mistakes. Hawkon's ended up being a little bit bigger than Vascalampi's, but you know, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the season will unfold now. I mean, we do have the 4 drop rounds, but the drivers can't just bank on them to make sure that they can get the good results there, Alex.
No, that's right, Corey. That is indeed the case. The drop rounds are in play, but look, the points here, certainly for the official season, are so high that missing out on any can be really, really challenging if you're in the tilt for that one. But the guys here tonight, once again, put on a fantastic show, and really looking forward to what's coming up in the weeks ahead. But for now, folks, we're going to call it quits. Make sure you come back here next week, same time, same bat channel, to check us out here once again for the Top Flight Skippy Soft of the Week each and every week. On screen right now, you'll see the places where you can find us and interact with us. Join us there in the various parts of our community. Come back here next week, of course, for this race. In between, I'll be on this channel with a couple of my races. The chaotic one himself, Corey Has No Life 13, is back in action as of today. Welcome back to the world of streaming, Corey, and welcome back to the commentary booth as well. But this has been round 9 of Sunday Night Lights, folks. We look forward to your company again next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on track and in the crowd here tonight. And as always, until next time, I will say ciao for now.